Hey everybody, welcome back. Today you'll see us start the electrical installation for the shop. I will tell you right up front, I'm not an electrician. I know a little bit about it, but not much, but everything you see me do is under the supervision of Mark, our licensed electrician, who I've been so fortunate to have help me with this shop, and he's a good guy. I really appreciate him a lot. But if you're not comfortable doing this kind of work, find yourself an electrician. Better safe than sorry. You're going to see us do some rough-in, pulling some wires, hooking up some outlets, all the things that make a shop hot. Well, it's Texas. It's hot here anyway, but you know what I mean. Now, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and share the video on your social media platforms, if you will. We appreciate it. It helps our channel a lot. Now, let's go to work. Well, here's the electrical plan. There's going to be about 6 circuits actually. The first circuit will be on the west wall. Each circuit's going to have 4 plugs in it. It'll be circuit number 1 will have 4. Circuit number 2 will have 4. Circuit number 3 will have 3 here and then 1 in the ceiling. Circuit number 4 is for the lights and the ceiling fan. Circuit number 5 will run the air conditioner, and circuit number 6 is our 220 plug. There's an outlet about every 6 feet, and each outlet is a double duplex box or a 2-gang box. Should be plenty of outlets. Okay, we're going to go underground with the cable from the corner of the house to just under the wall of the shop where it'll come through. This trench is only about 6 inches wide. It's about 6 inches, 8 inches deep, about 50 foot long. Wasn't too bad. Put soaker hose on it overnight, softened it up, and a buddy of mine and I dug it in about 20 minutes. Well, this is Mark. He is finishing up on the breaker panel that's going to supply the power to our outlets. He ran the wire from the main box at the house to this sub panel. While Mark was working on the sub panel, I began the rough end work, which starts with the holes through the studs to pull all of the wires. I started with this little 18 volt, but I ended up switching over to a 1/2 inch drill motor with these auger bits. It was much easier after these first 2 were done. And then begins the work of pulling the wires. This particular one is a 14-2 wire, and it's for the ceiling fan. And you'll see me pull the 14-2 for the ceiling fan and the lights, which is the white Romex. And then the yellow one there you see in the background, that's a 12-2. That goes to all the 20 amp circuits for the outlets that are going to power the various machines. Got the electrical roughed in. Mark finished the breaker box. It's a 100 amp breaker. And you can see we've got the rough end done all the way around the shop. It's going to have about 11 plugs around the walls. That one, second one from the end back there in the back is a dedicated one for the air conditioner. And along my east wall, I've got one dedicated to 220. Comes on around. We've got 11 total plugs. Okay, I'm getting ready to install my outlets into my boxes, and each box is going to have 2 duplex outlets. So we'll have a hot and a neutral coming in and a hot and a neutral coming out, but these two have to be joined together. So the way, just show you real quick, got a pigtail of about 3 inches for neutral and a pigtail about 3 inches for the hot. And it's really simple. Just turn these over. First I'm going to install the pigtail on the neutral side. The white wire goes to the silver screws. I'm going to make sure it's nice and secure. I bought the commercial grade outlets because they have the ability to slip your wire underneath the tab. You don't have to curl it and twist it around. Hot wire goes to the brass screws. Okay, now this one will cross over to here and come to the brass screw of the second outlet. And this one goes to the silver screw or the other outlet. Now, I will do a little disclaimer here. I'm not an electrician. I'm doing this under the supervision of Mark, who is a licensed electrician. If you're not comfortable doing this kind of work, I suggest you get an electrician. Now, when those go in, you can see on the back, we'll come in with a hot, and then we'll go out with a hot, and we'll come in with a neutral, and we'll go out with a neutral, and then they're jumped across, so then all 4 receptacles will be hot. Okay, I'm going to attempt to show you guys how I wire these boxes. This is my first circuit. It's one in a series of 4. Well, 4 circuits, but each circuit has 4 outlets on it as well. And I'm going to wire it using pigtails so that if something happens to this box, the power continues on downstream. Now what we have is got a wire coming from the breaker box, coming into, that's these 2, the hot and the neutral, and then wire going out to the next outlet. It's the hot and that's the neutral. And obviously I have the breaker shut off at the breaker box. Now I've already connected the 2 grounds. So what we're going to do is, first off, made this pigtail. These snap-in connectors. Some people like to use ties, and that's fine. The ties are probably a little more secure, or nuts, but these are so easy and they fold up pretty nice in the box. But first of all, I'll turn that around like this. Now what we'll do, we'll take these two hots and we'll install them in here. And what that will do, and then we'll use this pigtail to take the hot to this socket. And the little jumpers we made earlier will take the power from here to here and the neutral from here to here. And then so we have power sometimes the proximity is a little tight in here. Straighten this wire out a little bit. Helps it to go into the connector. Okay, so we've got the two hot wires joined, and now we'll take our pigtail and put it onto the outlet, and that will fire up the outlet. And now we will do the same thing with the neutral. Bend that over a little bit. Our first neutral plugged in. Now we get our second neutral plugged in. And then this neutral wire goes to the neutral side of the socket. So now we have a hot wire that goes not only to this plug, but it'll also go on down to the next plug. And then we fasten these back. Alright, our electrical is complete. We've got all of our outlets installed and wired using the pigtail method that I showed you previously. So we are set to start on the insulation. At this point, we still need to install ceiling fan and lights. We'll do that after the insulation is done. Well, that about wraps up today's video. We've got the electrical pretty well finished. All I need to do is hang some lights. Unfortunately, they're still in my last pod, which I hadn't brought stuff in yet. There's still stuff for my shop that's in my last pod in storage. And I was waiting for this shop to be pretty well built before I brought that pod to be delivered. So maybe next week, who knows. But next week we start the installation of the insulation. Yeah, got it right that time. I debated on whether to have it sprayed or whether to use rollout foam, and for cost reasons I'm going to do it myself with Owens pink corning and John Mansfield bats, and we'll explain next week. We appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up, like it. If you haven't subscribed, do so. Tell your friends, and help us out. We look forward to next week, and until then, you guys be safe and have a good week.